Welcome back. We've got our polenta done. It's keeping warm over on our burner. We just added our blue cheese. It's nice and melted in there. Smells wonderful, looks great. Can't wait to taste it. We've got our vegetable for our saute chopped up. We've got yellow pepper, orange peppers, squash and zucchini. We're going to put a little fresh herb in there towards the end of the dish, but we'll get to that in a second. So in our other saute pan over here, we're going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, about a tablespoon. And we're going to put in our peppers. Peppers take a little bit longer than the squash and the zucchini to cook, so we're going to add those first. Pan will take just a second to heat up. We're going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. We don't have any stock, if you remember, in our polenta, so a little salt in the saute that we're doing for on top is going to be nice. We did not put any stock in there again, so just water, salted water. Really not a whole lot of salt in that water. You're not going to be able to taste it in the finished product. The blue cheese has a slight salt content, so again, it's not going to really hurt us to put a little salt in our saute. Okay, our peppers are doing great. We're going to cut up our tomato. That's the one thing we did not get. I went ahead and cored this tomato. This dish is a very simple and easy dish to make. It's very much has peasant roots. Traditionally, polenta is served with braised meats, rabbit, wild game, venison, things of that nature. To keep the fat content down, the calories down, obviously we're using vegetables in this dish. This will be 100% vegetarian outside of the cheese. So if you don't want the cheese or want to keep it strictly veggie, omit the cheese. We talked about you can also use different types of cheese. Gorgonzola is very traditional in this dish. Very much like blue cheese, not quite as bitey, but I think the blue cheese with this, with just the vegetables, helps it out a little bit, sort of gives it a nice little body. So we're going to use the blue cheese for our purposes. Polenta is also called gruel. I know people probably have heard about that. It's not a very nice, pretty name, so I think polenta is much better. But if you hear people talk about gruel and things like that, that's what they're talking about. Mush, mash, anything like that. Okay, there we go. Our tomatoes nicely diced. We're going to save that for the very end. Our peppers are doing great. We're going to add our squash and our zucchini. We're going to add a pinch of chili flakes. If you don't like spice, you can certainly omit the chili flakes. You can put jalapenos in here, would work great. Pepperoncini has a very nice flavor. A little bit of acid goes wonderfully in this dish. This saute can also contain stock, as we talked about. A vegetable stock, chicken stock, anything you'd like. You can deglaze the pan with white wine. I kind of prefer when we plate it up to not have the vegetables be too soupy. I don't think the polenta is good with a thin sauce. You can certainly thicken it up if you'd like, but for our purposes, we're simply going to saute some nice fresh vegetables. We're going to add about a tablespoon of garlic. Cook that until it becomes fragrant, which really doesn't take too long. Be very careful not to burn your garlic. Okay. We're going to add our tomatoes. Any kind of vegetable you have around the house would work wonderful for this. If you wanted to put some broccoli, some cauliflower, fresh asparagus, pretty much anything works great. If you wanted to add a little chicken, some shrimp, again, it would be outstanding. Okay. It's looking very good. We're going to chop up a little bit of rosemary. I think with the vegetables in this dish, the rosemary gives it just a slight more, I'm going to say, of a savory component rather than using, let's say, a cilantro or a basil, something like that. I think the rosemary, the body of the rosemary, sort of gives the dish a certain something. We're going to add that. Again, as always, fresh herbs at the end, dried herbs at the beginning. We have a little chopped parsley. Going to put that in there as well for some more color. Our tomatoes are beginning to exude the liquid. They look great. They're cooking down nicely. The rest of our ingredients are done. How simple was that? We're going to go ahead and plate our dish. Okay, our polenta looks great. You'll be able to see the consistency when I get it here on the plate. Okay, followed by our fresh veggies. We're going to sort of put these around the side. Okay. Going to grab a little green onion. Sprinkle that across the top for our finish. We're going to finish our dish with a little more green onion for color. This dish will serve 2 to 3 people depending on if it's a lunch entree or a dinner entree. And there you have it. Blue cheese polenta with sauteed summer vegetables. I'm Chef Joe Fleischman, Meredith Medical Center in Hagerstown. Thanks for watching.
My ear still hurts.
You can't always get to the doctor right away, but you don't always need the ER. Meredith Urgent Care. Open 7 days a week, no appointment needed. Just warm, expert medical care when you need it most. Visit our website to see our real-time wait info, then visit the location that works best for you. Meredith Urgent Care. Treating the community well.